So, just to throw you just a little bit, this is Tuesday night and our first night with senior consultant Kristi Meck, and it's all my fault because last night I went out to celebrate Chris Brooks's executive consultant promotion. We went for dinner at where did we go? Oh, Capital Grill, was it Capital Grill? Is that what you call it? Capital Grill, yeah. Lovely. Very expensive, but awesome food. So anyway, it was my fault we couldn't get together last night. So as per normal, these accountability calls are flexible and take into consideration those things because those things happen to all of us. And so no one judges me and I judge no one for, these types of things happening. And you guys who are listening to the call, be flexible with your accountability partners too, because it's supposed to be fun, and these things happen and life just gets in the way every now and again. But what we do is we just make up for it. So I'm going to bring the lovely, very gorgeous, very wonderful, very fabulous senior consultant, Kristi Meck, on the line. Are you there, Kristi?
I am here, Richard. And thank you for that amazing introduction. I appreciate that.
Hey, come on. It's all true. It's all the truth. So thank you for being patient last night. As I say, it was unexpected, and I apologize for not being around, but we're here tonight. So we've got 2 days worth of accountability calls to get onto one call. So might I suggest, first of all, that we talk about yesterday first, and then we can deal with that, and then talk about today and any questions we've got, anything good, bad, and again, on these calls, we want, vulnerability. We want, I got it right, I got it wrong. How can I get it better? So we just kind of throw it all in there because everybody, even ECs who listen to this call, will say, oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a great idea. So let's start with yesterday. Did you have a good day yesterday?
I had a great day yesterday. I have to confess. First of all, I was so excited after Sunday night's call. I wanted to just start working right away. But it was 10 o'clock at night, so I didn't think I should make these phone calls. So, yeah, I know, I could on the West Coast, but none of those people on my list were on the West Coast. So right. I woke up very excited yesterday morning, didn't snooze my alarm once. I thought, I have a plan, I have a track, and I'm so excited to get today started. And then this crazy thing happened. I started to get nervous. And I thought, I don't know if I want to do this. I mean, I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I want to do this. And I got nervous and I got scared, and I thought, now I'm not sure. And you know how they show the giant phone in some of those cartoons with caricatures?
Oh, yeah.
I felt like that.
And it's like super heavy, right.
Yeah, and I thought it was, just pick up the phone, Chris. Just pick it up and put those earbuds in and make the call and read your script. The worst thing they can say is, no, go away. And so I procrastinated, and finally, I had to leave my house at 6:15. At 6:13, I said, you got to make one phone call before you go, because Richard's going to ask you tonight, are you going to make these phone calls? Or did you make these phone calls? So I called, and it went to voicemail. And I left a really wimpy voice message. I thought, well, that was not confident. That was not posture. That was wimpy. And kind of beat myself up about it. And I thought, well, call him back. So I had a great volleyball match. We didn't win, but we played really well. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Came home, and I thought, now's the time. I'm all pumped up. I'm all ready to go. So I called Josie back, and he answered, and he said, I read my script. I just read the script. And he said, yeah, I'll meet with you. But he said, yeah. And so I set an appointment with him for Thursday night at 9 o'clock.
How dare he make it so easy? How dare he? He could at least have made it difficult after all that.
I know, after all of that, contemplation. And so I thought, well, I got to make one more phone call because it was after almost 9 o'clock at this point. So I called Jason, forgetting that Jason was out of town. But, Jason answered, and he was kind of panting. And I said, oh, Jason, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your workout? No, that's okay, Kristi. What you need? And read my script and, got to the part where I said that, I know this may not be a good fit for you, but, you're well connected in the community, and perhaps you could make some introductions for me. He goes, well, that's true. I am well connected, and I'd be happy to make introductions for you. And I said, great. So he said, I'm out of town until next week. And so we set noon next Tuesday, the 25th, for an appointment. He goes, I'm happy to talk with you, Kristi. Plus, I used the old, I'm getting close to retirement age and I really need to prepare for it. And Jason said, well, I can help you with that because he's a financial guy. I said, perfect.
Yeah, you fed right into that one. I bet he loved that.
So I set up my 2 appointments yesterday, and I got off the phone, and I almost did cartwheels. I was so excited. I was so thrilled with myself because it worked. It worked, Richard, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it worked, and I was thrilled. I couldn't even believe all that consternation for nothing. At least yesterday.
But you know what's interesting? What's fascinating? There's a whole bunch of things that are fascinating about that, and I don't want to harp on it for too long. But that's the type of thing, that's the type of day that so many, I would say tens of thousands of Ambit consultants have had, but because they weren't in a system and they didn't have accountability, they didn't overcome that fear, they didn't force through it, and they didn't make the calls, and they didn't make the calls the next day and the next day and the next day, and they were gone, and they were out.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. I can't even tell you how strongly I agree with that, because I wouldn't have made the calls had I not had to call you and tell you, because I thought I'm not getting on this accountability call and telling Richard I didn't make the call.
Yeah.
Isn't that
fascinating? That's fantastic. And this is why, Kristi, I'm so glad you're being so vulnerable, because you're an SC, and here you are telling us all, you know, you're really nervous and you procrastinated, and we all do, but we don't confess that. We don't say those sorts of things, and especially if we're in SC. But isn't it incredible? There'll be times when, you know, I've got a call to make, and I'll be a little bit nervous, and I'll be like, I'll be. It's not often, but every now and again I will. And the times when I'm nervous is because I haven't prepared my invite. So I'll stop and I'll write it down and think, okay, remember, obviously be in a hurry. I'm gonna approach him with my why, but I'm also going to get in his opinion. And I get it down, I write it down, the nerves go away. Now I know it's different with you, but the point is we all get nervous. You know, whether we're an MC or, you know, RC, SC, EC, you know, NCs. They're too busy driving their Bentleys and living in mansions to worry about being nervous. But I completely agree. Isn't that fascinating? Now, but also, now you've got through that. Now, because you pushed through that, how much momentum do you feel, and how excited do you feel, especially with such great success in your first day?
I'm very excited. And so I woke up again today, super excited. And went to get my hair cut this morning, and lo and behold, I was talking to my hairdresser, and we were talking about utilities in the old home where she offices her salon. She doesn't pay utilities there, and I said, well, who do you have for your electricity at home? And she told me she is Reliant. And it turns out, long story short, she's going to be my customer because she wants to not only save money but earn free energy and help myself and my daughter in our business, because I'm building my daughter's customer base. And she said, absolutely, I want to help you out. And it was great. So I picked up a customer today, which was good. And then I honed a couple of my scripts for tonight. And I wasn't able to make my phone calls until 8 o'clock tonight, so I left my office at work. And I thought, I'm just going to sit in my car and make these phone calls because I have 2 hours to do it before Richard calls me.
Right.
So again, I have these nerves, these butterflies. And I'm a performer, so I understand nerves and I understand butterflies. And so I thought, you just got to do this. You just got to do this. Read the script. Just read it. And stick to the script, and again, all they can say is no, thank you. They're both going to be very, very polite, even if they say no. So I called Doug, the guy who cleans our offices, and Doug says, I'd like to hear what you have to say. And I'm meeting him at 9:15 in the morning at my office because we don't start till 10. So I have an appointment with Doug in the morning at 9:15, And I added one more name to my list because it was a gentleman who keeps trying to sell me new internet and phone service at the office. And so while I was on the phone with them, I said, hey, do you mind if I call you later on a different matter? Sure, no problem. So I just used that same script for him about how persistent he is and genuinely cares about his people and his business, and very responsive and very professional, and been in the business for 30 years. And I'm meeting him at 5:30 tomorrow evening at Starbucks. So
good God, look at you
It worked again. It worked again, Richard.
So now let's cover that, because some people are saying, well, great, what worked? So kind of give us, Doug was the cleaner around, and he was the manager of the cleaning company, right? And you didn't know his why or anything like that, but you knew he was very hardworking, so you went for a direct approach, right?
I did. And I said, aside from what I'm doing here, first of all, I said, hey, Doug, I just have a couple of minutes. I'm jumping on to another call in about 3 minutes. Which was true, because I was going to make the next call in 3 minutes. And
I love it.
And so, I said, aside from what I do here, I have a business project that I'm working on in the DFW area, and it's working really well for me. I'd like you to take a look at it, because the business is growing like crazy, and I need to work with some other business owners like yourself. Because the truth is, Doug, I'm just really impressed with the way you run your business. You're very responsive, you're very professional, and I can tell you really care about your people and you really care about your business and about doing things right. And I think it could be something you could really work well for you, but even more importantly, I'd like you to consider being my business partner. So what time do you usually get off work? That's what I said.
Let me ask you this. Did you do a takeaway at all?
I did. Yes, I did.
It may or may not be your cup of tea.
I said it may or may not be for you. But if not, then, I'm sure that you know other people for whom this might be a good fit, and, we can always sit down and talk about it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the invite sounded perfect without the takeaway, but the takeaway is there for a potential problem down the line.
Right.
So the invite was perfect without it, but still keep those, even if it's just it may or may not be your thing, because not only you, but your downline who are going to duplicate what you do need to be able to keep the power if they get rejected. And part of the ways to be able to do that is say, well, remember I said it may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. That's a great way of being able to take it back so he doesn't leave with all the power. And I know that sounds like a weird, kind of like existential type of thing, but it's not, If someone wins an argument, you feel something's been taken away from you. And you get that too many times, and, again, that'll drive people out of the business. So we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves, and a really nice, respectful way of doing that is that takeaway. And so it's really important that that 95% of the time we have a takeaway in the invite to protect ourselves in case they say no.
And I also want to tell you, Richard, that phone call took 1 minute and 55 seconds. That was it. And I think that he was going to ask me a question, and I didn't mean to do this. I did not do it intentionally. But I said, hey, that's great, Doug. I said, I'll see you at 9:15 tomorrow morning. And he said, okay,
God,
see you then.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Boom. That was so intentional.
Yeah. I mean, I did not intend
I almost want to meet you at 9:50 in the morning. That was so intentional. I want to be there as well. Oh my gosh, that was great.
Yeah, and it took less than 2 minutes of time. Now, understand, I spent probably 2 hours, maybe closer to 3, honing these scripts because I was so nervous about what to say. And so just because I didn't spend 10 or 20 or 30 minutes on the phone, I thought about that today. I thought, just because I'm not spending that much time on the phone with them, I still put the time in, like you said, on the front end, so that the phone calls take 2 minutes. That's all it took. Yeah. Every phone call I had took 2 minutes.
And the great thing about that is it makes the call a lot more pleasant. But more importantly than that, you're more likely to get a positive response. And again, all we want to do is make sure they take a look. They may or may not join. We don't care. We had I was at the Mesquite business presentation today with a couple of my team, which is why the call's late tonight. And I was closing the meeting, and I said, guys, look, you've taken a look at a business here that may be something that could really help you in, your debt or your retirement or whatever. But it might not. It might not be your thing. And it's so wonderful. You can literally see people kind of relax and then they give it. Then it's not like they're feeling they're having to fight, a closer or something. It's just like I can relax and make my decision, and if I don't want to do it, I don't have to feel bad about it. And we want to know if you don't want to do it.
Right.
So it's so great. But I really think that's a great thing. It only took you a minute and 55 seconds to do that call. But the thing is as well, Kristi, of course, is we've kind of put you in the spotlight a little bit here, and you want to make it right, and it's kind of like you're learning a little bit again, and it's the same as anything else. You're a performer. You know that when there was a time when you couldn't do what you do. What are you? You're a singer, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, there's a time. I mean, I'm sure you've always been able to be able to sing in tune, this type of thing. But there's a time when you're an amateur singer, and you're a time when you become more professional, semi-professional, and it comes from practice. And
exactly.
So there'll be, you can look at a score now and probably sing perfectly, as you read it. Whereas when you first get started, you're like, what are those black dots on that piece of paper? And it's. So there'll be a time when it'll be a minute and 55 seconds without any preparation, because you got the invite done, you got it written down, you're like, that's the one, and then you do it, and it'll be super quick. So that was awesome. So you have had 100% record so far in 2 days. So far,
that and 1,000 so far, yeah.
You see, and I know I keep going on about this, and I'm sorry, guys, for you listening in, but this is why there are many silver bullets, but this is the silver bullet, because there's nothing, I mean, obviously Kristi's lovely, and obviously she's got, good people to talk to, but we all have good people, and we all have bad people, this type of thing. But the thing is, the secret, the magic pixie dust that Kristi put into these last 2 days was she did it. That was it.
That's it. I did it. I dialed the number and I did it.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
and it was an adrenaline rush. It was exciting. And I'm always up for a new adventure, and I'm probably somewhat of an adrenaline junkie. So for me, it was just really exciting. It was great. I'm like jumping up and down right now. Barely can sit still. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
And when you do it right, it's so simple, isn't it?
It is. And you know what else, Richard? It is not overwhelming, because when you don't have a path and you don't have a track, and you're like, I need to make some phone calls tomorrow. Okay, that's like saying, I need to lose 20 pounds. Well, how are you going to do that? What's the plan? And then to say the plan was to make 2 invitation calls today. That was the plan, to speak to 2 people and invite 2 people to look at the business. Well, you know what? I completed it. I did it. And now I can say, I did it. I can come home, relax, spend some time with my daughter, and not feel bad about not doing my work, because I did my work. And, yes, that's what I'm going to say, that it was done. And that on a consistent basis, is, as you say, is going to... That's going to explode my business. This will be the best ever Ambit Energy. No
question. It's really 2 things. It's being prepared and doing it. So the doing it is what you did, but the being prepared is, it's like, if I get up on stage and do the training that I do at the trainings that we have, right. If I have a really nicely prepared PowerPoint and I've got it rehearsed, I really enjoy it up there. Yes. But if I don't have something prepared, it is horrible. And I'm winging it. I'm nervous. I'm not making coherent sense. I was in a band for 15 years. When we were prepared, we rocked it. When we weren't, we sucked. Yeah. And it's all about, and all the preparation is sitting down, working out an invite with your sponsor according to the 5 rules. Being in a hurry, your why, their why, the hook, the takeaway, and the intentional setting of the date, and having it written down there in front of you, so that instead of sitting there going, I really must do something right now, you're going to say, it's 10 o'clock, I've got to call Josie, and this is the invite I'm going to call him with. It's night and day, and the way you feel, there is the opposite of that if you're not prepared and you haven't made the calls over the last 2 days.
Or you make the call and it's just wimpy. and it's not, and then because I've done that too, and then you make the follow-up call and they don't ever answer, ever.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing is you often hear trainers talking about posture, and you think, I'll have posture when I'm good at this business. No, you'll have posture when you're prepared, when your invite is good, it's written down and thought about. That's when you'll have good posture. Even if you're a fairly new MC, you'll have good posture if you're prepared. So, okay, well, all right. So that's the calls that we've done. Now, did you have any other questions that you wanted to cover on the call?
I do. So now I'm pretending that I'm brand new in this business, or I'm just working obviously with your system. So I'm meeting these 2 tomorrow and 1 on Thursday. What's the best way for me to show the plan, show the business?
Well, as you know, there are a number of different ways you can show the business. Obviously, there's the, you send someone the link by making an appointment with them. That's obviously not what you're doing tomorrow, but I'm going to just quickly cover them for everyone on the call.
Okay.
Where, like, if I was going to show you the business, Kristi, I'd say, hey, Kristi, what time are you going to be by a computer? And you'll say, well, I get home around 6:30. I'll say, okay, I'll give you a call at 6:30, and I'm going to give you a website URL so you can go and watch that video with that information that we had. So I set an appointment if I'm sending someone a video. I never send a link without an appointment. And then there's the other ones, and there's the one-on-one, which is the ones that you're going to be doing tomorrow. There's the 2-on-1, which is where you'll go and meet with them with your sponsor or Crossline or someone else. Usually it'll be your sponsor. Then, which you're not going to do, there's the business presentation, home meetings, and that type of thing. So you're going to be either a one-on-one or a 2-on-1 tomorrow. Now, I'm assuming you're not taking anyone, your upline or anything with you, so you'll be a one-on-one tomorrow.
I am a one-on-one, but I've already lined up my upline for a third party for the 3-way call. Okay,
that's perfect. And we'll come to the validation in a second. But what I will do, if I'm meeting with you, Kristi, to show you the business, the first thing I'll do is I'll sit down saying, thanks for coming, and there'll be a little bit of idle chat, but I want to get right on into it pretty quickly. I don't want to waste time with small talk, and I'll say, okay, well, first of all, I'll explain why I'm doing the business. I just say, I've been in the country for X amount of time, and it doesn't matter what my why is. I will just briefly say why I'm doing the business, and then I'll say, like, for example, with Josie, I'll say, now, Josie, I can sit here and kind of tell you all about the business, but something that's really, really important about this business is that when you see it for the first time, you see how simple it is. Very, very important you do that. And the best way to do that is for me to put a DVD in here or to call up a website or however you're going to show them and show you the video. Reason being is if this is something you wanted to do, and this is a nice opportunity for a takeaway, and I understand it might not be, but if it is, it's something you'll need to be able to show, to someone else tomorrow or the day after. And if you're just showing a DVD, anybody can do that. But if you feel you've got to make a presentation, then that's going to be a little bit daunting. So we're going to take 20 minutes. You're going to have a look at this video, and then I'm going to make sure that I set it up so we can get all of your questions answered properly. So that's how I kind of introduce it. A nice opportunity. So I always say how simple it is, because if this is something you want to do, and I understand it may or may not be, so there's a nice takeaway there, again, protecting me for if he rejects me down the line. And then I want you to watch the DVD, and then I literally put the DVD in the player, or I call up the website and I'll say, well, the company's called Ambit Energy. We've been in business for almost 10 years. We're around about $1.5 billion in revenue, all sorts of accolades, and all the details are in the video. Here you go, and I push play, and I shut up. Then whilst I then watch the video with them as if it's the first time I've seen it. I don't sit back or wander around or excuse myself or start, checking my voicemail or whatever. I watch it like I'm watching it for the first time, because the opposite is really bad body language. I might drop a real quick text to my third-party verification person to say he's watching the video now, because when you're the third-party person, it's really good to know that in 20 minutes you're going to need to be available. And that's it. And then I will make sure he watches all 4 of the corporate videos. Now, I know there are other videos like Energy Gold Rush. I know some people will just show the first video and the money video. But if someone doesn't have 20 minutes for me for a life-changing business, then screw them.
Okay.
When I've looked at businesses before, I was going to buy a franchise back in my 20s. I flew to Germany. I was there for 5 days and decided I didn't want to do it. But any business needs to be looked at maturely and with proper due diligence. And if you only want to, if I can't get it in 5 minutes, I'm not interested. Well, screw you. I don't want you in my business. If you're not going to take something this important, this seriously, then, and I've never had that. I've never had that. Because I just posture and say, there's 4 videos, we'll watch them, we'll get your questions answered, see if it makes sense.
Got it.
So it's really as simple as that.
Okay. That's what I was going to do. I just wanted to make sure that was the best way to do it.
Yeah, no question. I also always make sure that I have as many tools with me as possible. So I've obviously got the DVD, but obviously a Success from Home magazine I'll always have. I do have an Inc. 500 magazine from 2010 to show the fastest growing company, but there are reprints of that. I also have the Direct Selling Association. I just have a bunch of tools because if your mouth is moving, you need to be pointing to a tool. If you're talking about the fastest growing company in the country in 2010, if you're pointing to the Inc. 500 magazine and the article in there and say, find us on the list and it's number 1, it has 100 times more impact than you just telling someone. So again, for those listening in, just introduce it by you want people to see how simple it is. Make sure you got all the tools there and push play. Make sure they watch all the videos, in my personal opinion. And then obviously then it gets to the end of the DVD and out comes the same question out of my mouth every single time, which is, did that make sense? And there's all sorts of different responses, but some people will be like, well, it can be kind of negative, or it can be like, wow, yeah, actually, you get a feel for it. Right. And this is where an element of skill you will learn. In the early days, if you're pretty new in the business, I really like to do 2-on-1s because the segue between the end of the video and getting to validation or addressing concerns, I never call them objections because I think that's automatically a negative. I think people have concerns but not objections. So when you're first, I like to, my new people, I will make sure I am with them as much as possible for a 2-on-1 meeting. But obviously with you, you're a seasoned senior consultant, so you'll know how to deal with, whatever they come up with, and we'll segue to the verification call. I usually get questions. Every now and again, I'll get someone who's absolutely anti. Every now and again, like 1 in maybe 30. Maybe, someone who's really anti. No. I've done this sort of thing before. I was with Stream. It doesn't work and this type of thing. And I'll say, well, what went wrong? But if they're already trying to leave, and I'll let them go. I will let them go. I'll be like, and that's when the protection of it's not, it may or may not be your cup of tea. That's when you pull it out of the bag and say, well, look, remember I said it's not for everyone, and I completely understand that, but I really respect you taking your time to look at this. Obviously you did see in there that we have some extremely competitive rates. Perhaps we should just look at you becoming a customer, see if we can save you some money. And I'll just stay in touch with you and, see if the timing's, better further down the line. But and I'll see what I can do about making them a customer. If they're like a no, I make it really easy for them to go. Yeah. I never fight them. A lot of people come up to me and say, hey, Richard, how do you overcome this objection? How do you overcome this objection? There are very few objections I'll really address. I'll address a couple of concerns, like, if they don't have the money and this type of thing. But I do not believe in being the car salesman of turning someone from a no into a yes just for the sake of doing it. We only need 3. and we only need to get them qualified. Now, some people would say, well, why don't you turn them around? If you've got the skill to be able to turn someone around, why don't you do it? Well, if it's a one-on-one and it's worth it, then maybe I will. But in most cases, I won't because, quite frankly, I can't be bothered. And if they can't see it, I don't want them. But secondly, more important than that, it's really hard to duplicate. You know, and if I'm sitting there on a 2-on-1, if I'm with you, let's say, you know, you're a brand new MC and we've got a new guy and I really sweet talk this guy around and turn him from a no into a yes, you're sitting there thinking, oh, that's my God, I cannot do that.
Yeah, that would be intimidating for me.
It would be intimidating, exactly. So I don't really bother because there are plenty of people who are praying for an opportunity like this for me to try and convince negative Nelly that he should be doing this.
Well, and also, everyone I've talked to tonight, well, 3 of the 4, yesterday and today, said that they would absolutely, you know, put me in contact with other people if this wasn't for them.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that the real negative Nellies and this type of thing, you can't wait to get out of there. Absolutely, I'll let them go. But, yeah, the fallback is try to make him a customer and try to get referrals.
Got it.
And especially if you talked about referrals in the invite. But that's how I would deal with it. And then, obviously, the segue into the verification call is there's a couple of ways of doing it.
Hold on just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That one from one of the calls.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on a second.
Hold on a second.
Also, at the last training that I saw, so the one I'll do is let's again. I've just presented to you, Kristi, and you say to me, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm so busy, I really don't have much time. And I'll say, you know what, I completely understand. I've got a couple of restaurants myself, and I know it's really difficult. Hold on just a second, and I'll pick up my phone. You would have no idea what I'm doing, but I've got my 3-way on the call, and I'll say, you know, I'll call Mary and wait. I'll say, Mary, I'm here with Kristi right now. Remember, I told you I was going to see her, and that, you know, she's really sharp. She's seen the video, likes the video, but is really concerned about not having very much time. And I know when you first started, you had the same issue. Kristi, this is Mary. I work with Mary all the time. She's been kind of a mentor to me. She's really good at this business. But right at the very beginning, she had 2 children, 3 mortgage offices, and was really struggling for time. And she's now a millionaire in the business. So she worked out how to do it. She's going to be the best person to answer your time question. Hold on a second. Kristi, Mary, this is Kristi. I'm done.
That's perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and it's total posture. Total posture. And it does take a little bit of practice. But another segue into the 3-way call, I saw Doug Parker and Jared Abshire do in the last training. And I think this is Doug's segue. It's similar to mine. But he says, oh, hold on a second, I got an idea. And does the same thing.
That's the one I remember.
It's beautiful. I know it's beautiful because people are like, oh, he's got an idea. I wonder what it is. He's looking at his phone, like, you know. It's awesome.
Light bulb.
Exactly. And here's the thing, but some people will try and segue into explaining that they're going to put someone on the phone to get questions answered. Now, a master of that actually is Dana Hetta. He does a great job of doing that. But not many people are as skilled as him. And I think the hold on a second or, you know what, hold on, I've got an idea is a much easier way of segueing into it.
Yeah, I like that. I'll practice that with my daughter. She's the drama queen, so I'll role play with her.
My team get really frustrated with me because every now and again I will do some techniques with them, addressing, certain concerns and like some people are really worried about invites, and I'll be chatting to them, and about 3 minutes later, when they've forgotten they asked me that question, I'll invite them to something. I'll thought of something. Oh, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you about. I've got something that's going on with my wife next week. It's actually going to be kind of like a business thing. It's not Ambit, but it's kind of similar. Are you free at like 6 o'clock, 6:30? Because I know my wife wants to, and I'll invite them to something. They have no idea what I'm doing, and they'll say yes. And I'll say, gotcha.
Gotcha.
And they'll be like, what? I'll say, that's how you invite. It's just relax. Just be yourself and you'll be fine. So I don't know why I said that, but it's just, I'll do that. And so you practicing, that's why I said it, because you said you were going to practice on your daughter and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll go play with her.
And it is good to do it because you've got to be practiced at the words coming out of your mouth, picking your phone up and saying, oh, hold on a second, I've got an idea. And there's almost a little bit of miming, too. There's a little bit of acting, in the intentionality of doing it.
There is.
Yeah.
I would totally agree, especially in the posturing and then I just have to pretend that I have all of this confidence and all of this boldness and 20 seconds of boldness. Isn't that it? 20 seconds of boldness?
That's it. 20 seconds of insane courage. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. But, and it's all about being prepared. The more prepared you are, the more confident and more posture you have. And then you just got to do it. And you're going to do it if you've got accountability. And you know what that feels like because you had it yesterday and today.
Yes, and it's exactly what I needed. It's wonderful. It's exactly what I needed.
Mm.
So,
any other questions?
No. My friend Wendy, though, I have to confess, we've already set up a time to have coffee next week because we had been texting since Sunday. So I have to confess that I can't really leave her on the list because I'm already. So my question is, I don't have to go through the script of setting an appointment with her because I have a time set with her. Mm-hmm. Do I just bring it up, or do I say, hey, by the way, there's something I really want. There's something I wanted to talk with you about, or what should I do there? I mean, I don't want to just drop it on her while we're there because that's not the reason that she wants to have coffee.
No. This is a perfect question. Two of my, I've had this situation with two of my people in my EC code who are really flying, and we do accountability calls every day. What I'm doing with you, by the way, I do with my team. I practice what I preach, and we intentionally planned it. The way I'm going to coach you on how to deal with Wendy. Okay. So I'll use actually my consultant as an example, and we can apply it to Wendy. My consultant has an old school friend that she hasn't seen in 15 years. And she said, I really want to speak to her because I remember at school she was really bubbly. I see her on Facebook. She's this, that. She really wants to invite her. She said, but how can I call someone after 16 years and dump a business on them? And I'm like, you don't. I said, remember, patience in this business. Everything about this business is patience. This country and England the same. Everyone wants now. Fast food, fax it, text it. It's now. Slow down, breathe. We only need 3, and the right person is worth spending the time with. So what I do in circumstances like that, I split the invite and actually the meetings into 2. Okay. So what I suggested with Margarita, my girl I was talking to today, was just give your friend a call. She doesn't have a number, so she's doing it on Facebook, on the private messaging, never on the news feed, but only in private messaging. Right. To say, hey, let's get together. I haven't seen you in 15 years. I saw you on Facebook, and I thought it would be just lovely to get together for a cup of coffee. And that is totally genuine and not an ambush. Because that's what she's going to do. She's going to get together with her and have a cup of coffee. It's going to be genuine. She's going to sit and listen, enjoy each other's company. But, of course, it's not going to be, loaded. It's not going to be the sole intention, how can I get her? It's going to be, a nice, friendly thing. But she's going to be asking, how's the family? How's the job going? Wow, you've been there for 15 years. You must really love that. Just asking some provocative questions to find some pain. So what you're going to do with Wendy is you'll get together for a cup of coffee and you're going to just sit and be the lovely girl that you are, and you're going to chat and have coffee, and you can talk about family and all sorts of things, and you'll get quite a few little references to pain. Okay. And so then you've got all this situation, and it was definitely going to be a social thing, right? There was you'd not mentioned anything about any kind of business. Correct. So all part of for all the following reasons. First of all, respect for your friend. Secondly, respect for yourself. thirdly, respect for your Ambit business, and fourthly, respect for the industry of network marketing, you will not ambush that girl. It is absolutely a no-no, and I know you won't, but this is for the people listening on the call. We do not do that. However, during that, you'll have heard some pain. And let's say, how old's your daughter? Oh, she's 20, right?
20.
Let's say your daughter was at college, and whatever. No, let's talk about retirement. That's it. That's your thing. It's your retirement. And Wendy's the same age, and retirement, and you're hearing, well, Wendy says, well, we've got a couple of things going on, but we're a little worried that when my husband and I retire, we won't have enough, or just whatever the pain is.
Right.
Right at the very end of the meeting, right at the very end, there's two places where you can make an invitation. One is at the very end of the presentation. The second one is a call a little later on, because it just dawned on you what was said during the meeting. So what I've done is I met a friend of mine, 16 years I hadn't seen him. We got together. He'd lost his job and was looking for something. I could have jumped all over him within 5 minutes, but we had a meeting for 2 hours. At the very end of the meeting, we were just leaving, walking out of the cafe, and just as we were going, as we were parting ways, I kind of did the Columbo thing. I patted my pockets, looking for a business card or whatever. And Jim, I've just been thinking actually, while you're not working, I might have something that'll help you out. Give me your email address. Posture. Give me your email. I always lead with the email address. Give me your email address. I want to send you some information because it might help you out while you're looking for something. And Jim, this is a true thing. Jim did this 4 years ago. Jim did that. He said, "Yeah, hell yeah, no problem." And he said, "Well, what you got?" And I said, "Well, I didn't want to get dragged in." I said, "Well, I have another business that I've been working alongside my restaurants that are working really well for me, and it may work for you." And he said, "Well, what are they? Tell me about it. I want to know now." And I could have then still, he was inviting me. I said, no, Jim, I've really enjoyed just hanging out with you socially. It's been 16 years. It was great to catch up with you. Why don't we make another time to get together, and then we can talk business? And he said, and he really respected that. We've spoken since then. He really respected that I wasn't jumping all over him, because there he is. He's looking for something. He's a sales director, so really high caliber, and he's asking me about it. But I've just spent 2 hours with him. Wouldn't have been right. So we made another appointment. I showed him the business at another appointment. And he joined the business and became one of the seniors to send me to EC.
Nice. Okay.
So with Wendy, right at the end of the meeting, based upon pain, you can make a quick invite. Hey, with that retirement thing, I've got a business that I'm working alongside my current job right now. It might help you out. I don't know if it'll be your thing, but it might help you out. What's your email address, Wendy? I want to send you some information. I'm actually not going to send her any information on email. I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to call her. But I leave with that, and she'll give it to me, and I'll say, well, and what time? Actually, what time are you going to be home? Oh, I'll be home in half an hour. I'll tell you what. Can you be by a computer, and I can actually point you to the place where you can see the info? Well, I'll be home in half an hour. Okay, cool. I'll give you a quick call, and I'll send you to this this website, and watch that video, and just see if it'll help you out. I'll do it that way.
Okay.
Okay. So, but if you don't do it at the meeting, you can at the get together. You can do it afterwards.
Okay.
Where because some people who are brand new may not have the sophistication to segue based upon the pain they heard during that coffee morning into the invite. So what you do is you take the pain away with the information away, call your upline, and put an invite together, and call them back and say, "Hey, Wendy, I was thinking about what we spoke about earlier on today. It was so lovely to see you, by the way. It's great to hear about the kids and everything that's going on. But something dawned on. I don't know why I didn't bring this up when I was with you. I have a business project I'm working on right now that's helping with my retirement, and you were talking about your situation there. This actually might work for you. Are you going to be by a computer anytime soon?" And do the invite afterwards. That was a really long answer. But it's an important question.
Well, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. My invitations tomorrow are to two business ladies that I know, 2 different ones, and I'm going to use the ones I used for the businessmen because I know them from the office, and one of them I have a little deeper connection with than the other, but I'm going to use the direct approach with them about looking at the business and respecting them and getting them. Yeah, I'm going to use the same one as I used with Josie and Jason. And I have another confession. Tommy, the other guy, he's actually probably the biggest. If I had to put anybody on this list in a chicken list, it would be Tommy. So I'm going to call him tomorrow too. I'm just going to get it done.
Well, if you're a little too scared or whatever, give me a call and we'll chat through it real quick. But the way to get over that chicken list issue is be prepared with your invite.
Yeah.
It's
the same invite, and actually I shouldn't because I shouldn't because all of these people know me from the office and they all seem to respect me and I've connected with them as well. So that's tomorrow. But I think I might have to add a couple more to my list because then I'll be... and
we're going to have to probably work on a couple more invites tomorrow or the day after as well to make sure you got enough invites for the week. But, all right, well, thanks for getting on the call tonight. It's super late night. It's 11:05 at night. Look at us. We are hard-working bunnies. We are awesome.
Perhaps I can actually go to sleep pretty soon. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd be too excited for tomorrow. Okay. All right, lovely. Well, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate all of your help. You've been amazing.
No problem. Happy to do it. All right, lovely. I'll chat to you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now.